This is what happens when you have a terrible idea and access to a grinder. Welcome back to the E30 project. So, since now the car drives really good, we did all the maintenance, did a couple upgrades like the performance chip, upgraded the steering wheel. Car drives good now. Next up is body work. So this will be probably the most difficult part of the entire build, but what I want to do is chop the whole rear end of the car from pretty much this line on. Just cut all of it out, cut the whole trunk out, and then I think that will give it a really cool look. Since this is like kind of a rally inspired build, I think once all of this like access is like removed, and then I really want to do a custom exhaust to have it kind of come out almost center but like a bit off center, like on an E28, and like pretty high up. That will give it a really cool like rally car vibe, kind of like on the Lancia 037. So that's kind of the inspiration for this. And as you can see, this is pretty nasty and rusted, and there's a couple holes. So to fix all of this and to do all that properly would be quite a lot of work. And I think this way will also be a lot cooler. So I don't actually know how this is gonna go, because I've only ever seen one person on the internet like actually make a video on this. Basically, the plan is to follow this line and just cut all the way along, and then pop the trunk. I'm gonna have to cut out the battery tray and relocate the battery, so I have to do that. And then pretty much just cut all along here and go all the way across, cut out the spare wheel well all the way across, and then this will just be like completely empty pretty much. This feels like kind of a dumb idea to just chop the whole rear end of my car off, but you know what, let's just do it. Okay, so I got my safety glasses on, and I'm gonna start by cutting out the spare wheel well. By the way, if it looks like I have no clue what I'm doing, it's because I don't. That was a lot easier than I was expecting. So the spare wheel well is completely cut and dropped out of the car. So now that that's gone, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut kind of like this and see how that looks, see if I like it, but probably won't, and I'm just gonna end up cutting the entire thing. So now I'm just gonna cut the lower part and see how it looks. Okay, so got that piece cut off, and it actually kind of looks cool. If you wanted to do something like this without cutting the sides off, it's totally doable. That looks kind of sick. Obviously, you do like a nice straight cut. Honestly, really excited to see how it will look, because already this gives it such a different look. And once all of that is cut, I think it's gonna look awesome. And just look at how empty it is over here now. This metal, very easy to cut. It's super thin. What I'm worried about is like this. This will probably be a lot harder to cut, but we'll cross that road when we get there. So I've taken this little plastic thing out, and as you can see, there's more rust holes. This is all like crumpled and destroyed. So it's good that we're cutting all this out. What my idea is to cut right along here, so kind of leave that edge. Hopefully I can get in here without damaging the body kit, but I'm just gonna go right across, go all the way over, do that, and then once I've done that, I'll start cutting from the inside itself. So I'll go about there, cut straight across like that, and on this side I'm just gonna go straight like that, cut into there, and then remove this really rusty, rotted out battery tray as well. So I've completed the cut all the way across, and don't worry about how bad this looks right now. I purposely left a bit of extra room so I can do some final trimming at the end once this is all out of the way. So now that that's done, I think what I gotta do next is start cutting on the actual inside. So I'll go much straight across, cut the frame rail right there, and then cut the arch kind of like that, and kind of try and meet my cut over there. So I've got my terrible cut, but I will clean it up at the end, I promise. I'm not able to get the grinder fully in there, but I think that'll be fine to worry about later. Worst case, I'll just jack it up and do it from the front behind the wheel. So now I'm pretty much just gonna go straight across, and I might have to go underneath the car to get the frame rail completely, but I'll probably, yeah, just get half of it from top and then go down below and do the other half. And then once that's chopped, I'll just do the exact same thing on the other side. I've taken a small break from the trunk because I've been working on it for a while, and I mocked up the rally lights. Just look at how cool that looks. It's actually working out really well because this is a disaster. I'm gonna cut all of this off, but actual size of this like frame of the lights is so perfect. There's nothing holding this on. It just slid in and it's the exact size. And look at how cool it looks. Back to the trunk. So I cut out a little slit to give me more room to get to the frame rail over here, and I'm basically just gonna see how much I can cut without crawling underneath. And there's this exhaust heat shield thing there too, so I don't want to deal with that. I'm gonna try and cut most of it from top, and then I might just jump on it and see if I can get the snap off. You could do this all in one big piece, but I need to go. But I'm really curious to see how this looks. So I quickly just made a cut across here. This is cut most of the way. So now my idea is to just jump on this and it should just fall out. After a bunch of pretty much butchering all of this, I think it's finally ready to come. Finally got this bullshit off, and there's a fork in there, which is nice. But look at this. This is looking pretty insane. Just one side being done, and it already looks crazy. Like, looks like a totally different car. And it's totally got that rally vibe that I'm going for. So, super excited. The other side's gonna be much more difficult, but now I'm motivated to get it all done, because this looks really cool. Now we move on to this side, which is pretty much the same idea. It's just the curvature of everything is a bit different. So hopefully I can get the grinder in properly and actually make my cuts. But just like I did with this, I'm just gonna start cutting shit until it comes off. Because I made probably like 50 different like random ass cuts, all kinds of zigzags. Finally got it off. So as long as I do the same thing here, should go just as well. Game plan for this side is to cut straight across here in line with the battery tray, and then cut here, and then I'm gonna cut like this. As you can see, I'm bleeding, so blood, sweat, and tears going into this build. But I'm gonna cut along here, and then once I get here, I will kind of just figure out what else needs to be cut. Another thing to be careful about is the fuel filler tube thing goes right there, so I have to be really careful not to cut through it and put a hole in this, because that'd be pretty annoying to replace or to try and fix. Also, 40-year-old seam sealer smells very bad, and it's not going to be very good for your throat, so maybe put on a mask because it gets very smoky. Climb in here again. I step on this. Second. Oh, there we go. Pretty big movement. Now, just fucking wiggle this around. Should come off. Almost there. Surprisingly, this side was actually a lot easier due to it being pretty rusty, so I was able to pretty much snap it off in a lot of the places. And look at this thing. It looks ridiculous. So now I'm gonna have to clean up all the cuts, and the plan is to create a fully custom kind of like tube chassis reinforcement. So have a bar going across, and then I was just gonna do a bar from each strut tower connecting in the middle, so it's nice and strong. But yeah, as you can see, cut straight across the frame rail, cut all across here. I still have to cut all of this stuff off, but main thing is that I think, fix the trunk, I think it looks really cool. So once the fully custom exhaust is also done, it's gonna come right out there, and I'm super happy with this. It looks absolutely ridiculous. So I'm gonna end this video off here. The E30 is chopped. Now it's all about cleaning up those really bad cuts and then working on the tube chassis and the exhaust. So stay tuned for that. This project is gonna be very cool, especially now that half of it is missing. So thanks for watching.